Oh, I have not done one of these in a while, so I hope it's okay. My name's Alex, and in this video, you're gonna realize that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes that I don't think I've ever told you. And quite honestly, I feel like it's time to come clean. Now, if this is your first video, I'm so sorry. I sound like Linus Tech Tips. I have the emotional range in my voice of like a penny, and I make really bad analogy jokes, and I try my best to build cars and to drive them on this channel. And sometimes I like to talk about stories as well. It's been my passion since I was a kid. Since I was young, the only other person in my family that was into cars was my grandpa Lloyd, who's no longer with us. And ever since then, I've always enjoyed what cars have allowed me to do, which is just express myself. And to be honest, I've always been really, really bad at expressing myself. I don't know even how to really do it. I've never really understood the concept of it. Getting comfortable in front of a camera was fine professionally, but getting in front of a camera personally and casually is really freaking hard. And so over the course of what seemed like a decade now, I've tried to figure out just how to crack this case. And I've started to learn that a lot of this, if not all of it, is dependent on you. So here's an update on everything that's going on. And I hope if I could at least ask of one thing, is let me know what your thoughts are below. It would mean the world. I'm gonna read every single one of them because I think you deserve to know what's going on. Let's start with maybe the good stuff. MartiniWorks is growing. For those that don't know, we have launched MartiniWorks the very first time in September of 2022, selling t-shirts at Gatlinburg. At Riverside 8 of 2023, we launched the build threads. It was just me and it was just Lars, and we were just trying to figure out how the hell to make this whole thing work. Shortly thereafter, we brought on Dakota and Gels full time, which was the scariest thing I think I've ever done. If you guys didn't know, I came from a role where I was the chief marketing officer, blah, blah, blah. All that meant was that I made a lot of money and it was really hard work, and there was a plan and there was a future there, and that future changed. And that resulted in me making a really tough choice to decide what I wanted to do in my life. And I elected that I'll be damned if I don't stay in the automotive industry doing what I love and doing it right. The problem with that is that when you jump out of doing something that makes you a lot of money and you jump into something like this, you're not making any money. You're not making a lot at all. And so bringing on Dakota and Gels was an awesome experience, but it was also one of the scariest things financially I think I had ever done. That's the reason I actually ended up selling the R8, and why I also sold a couple of the other cars that I had just hiding around, because I wanted to make that investment. Now, fast forward into Gatlinburg of 2023, we were selling t-shirts, and we had officially launched the MartiniWorks store, which sucked. It was disgustingly bad. It was terrible. You entered in a year, I don't even think we had a year make model when we first started the website. And yet for some reason or another, the community had a vibe for it, and they enjoyed it, and they tried their best to support it anyway. Fast forward to Riverside 9, and we now actually have a site that you can buy car parts from. And we're really proud of this website because we haven't sold our soul to tell you exactly what we think you should do or what we think you should buy for your car. Just the MartiniWorks side of this conversation realistically is taking me 50 hours a week of my normal job. I also have the marketing agency called MartiniWorks, where we help automotive brands actually figure out how to brand themselves and do digital advertising and social media and things like that, like the business side of things. We work with some really incredible brands, and I love doing that job as well, which is also a really small team, but that also takes what I would figure is like another 40 hours of my already taken 40-hour work week. But MartiniWorks has finally started to see some actual success, which has been really, really exciting. And now, like after a year, we've finally figured out how to make the MartiniWorks thing work. So I just wanted to say thank you. And because so much of my creative focus has been put on that, I've started to realize that the strain has started to come to this channel with you and with me. And I don't think that's okay. And I wanted to say sorry. I hold myself to a really high expectation. I always have, and I always will. It's really important for me to feel like no matter what it is that I'm pushing out, is that at some form of another, you enjoy it. And at some points when I've created some of this content, it hasn't felt that way at all. It felt like I was just making content for a machine, for an algorithm to push out in hopes that it just did well. And if the video didn't do well, I felt like a failure. And even though some of these videos are doing okay, even as I sit down right now, I still kind of feel like a failure. The whole creating content and being an influencer on YouTube is a very unique and incredible experience. And it has a lot of people wanting to do this as a full-time job. The only thing is that a lot of the people that get really successful on YouTube or social media in general is because they have a really boisterous or really unique voice. They say things or do things that feel just really out of pocket. And that's awesome for those people. But for people like me or for people like you, where maybe you're not like that, it can be a little tough because you don't really know what to say. You don't really know how to stand out. Your content feels a little bit more like a Sunday drive than it does, you know, an autocross day with Max Verstappen. And so it can feel a little dreary if you start to compare yourself to some of the other creators out there, which I do literally every single day. And I know you're not supposed to, but that doesn't mean that you don't. I mean, if you're somebody who wants to grow and get better and you want to make good content for you folks, you're constantly comparing. And so it's been a little bit tough on this side of things. So I did make a change. I think it's important for you to know. You're gonna see me less on the Torque Motorsport channel as a whole. I worked with them for 2 years creating content, helping them launch Torque Drift 2, which was an absolutely incredible experience. They've done an insane job and the game is super cool. It's a very incredible game and I'm so excited for that team to kind of take it, run with it, and make it as incredible as I know it can be. But you won't see me on that YouTube channel as much anymore, if at all. I had an exclusivity partnership with them for 2 years. That's over, which means a lot of my time that was dedicated to creating content on that side is gonna come right back over and it's gonna be dedicated to you. That's one of the first things that I'm doing. The second thing is it's been kind of confusing to figure out where content sits on MartiniWorks or versus my own channel. And to be honest, I don't even know the answer still. It's confusing. I'm sitting here, we're at the shop. I have cars, all of the broken cars are always the cars that are on the lift, which means I don't know. But I think what I want to do is I want this channel to be about the experiences and the driving of the cars that we build. And I want to take you along for those experiences, which are going to feel a little bit different than how they have in the past. And I hope that's okay. It's going to start feeling like this because I don't know how else to do it. I want to take you along for those and I want you to experience them. And if you like it, you let me know. And if you think it's stupid, I'm sure you'll let me know too. The short content I really enjoy. I love telling stories and I love to find ways to continue telling stories about racing moments and Formula One and all that sort of stuff because I've really found I do enjoy that. MartiniWorks though is gonna stay doing what it's doing because it's absolutely kicking ass. We're gonna be building cars over there, Dream Build series. We're gonna be talking about parts and the history of car parts. We're gonna be really honest with you when we tell you what's a rep, what's not a rep, what's an original design wheel versus what's not original design wheel. And I will stand on that hill and I will take that hot water from the suppliers and the manufacturers till I die because I still believe that's the right thing. I will not fucking give up on this dream. I will not give up on doing things the right way. And I will not give up that you can do something really cool for the community while still making some money without selling your soul, because so much of that bullshit has been in this space, has been in these mergers and acquisitions, and I've had enough of it. And I think it's dumb, I think it's silly, because there's plenty of money to be made and people are just fucking greedy and that shit's gotta stop. Outside of that, it's been a year since I told you, what I did with the ad revenue that I made. And I can tell you right now, the ad revenue that I made in the past year has gone to this. Has gone to my local friends building this wall so that it looks a little bit different than a normal shop. It goes to the $180 Govee light that's floating around back there that is way overpriced. It goes to the aperture light or the microphone that I'm wearing or the lift. Well, the Max Jack sent us that, which is super rad. But all of that stuff, that's where it's all going. It's going to the Taco John's that's kind of coming into the shop right now. It's going to the stage wheels or the chairs I bought off Craigslist or Marketplace for $25. It is literally make or break here on this side of the fence. And we are doing everything we fucking can to make this dream work. But to make this dream work means telling you how it's all going and telling you the truth. Because I can stand and sit in front of this camera and I'm good at creating what I need to create to tell a story, but it's not me. You're not getting the vulnerable side of me. And this is about as close as you're gonna get because I have emotional detachment issues from my childhood and you're just gonna have to put up with that until I trust you more. And that's just how the world works. But with that being said, I do want to say thank you so much for your patience. That's what's going on right now. That's how things have been going. It's been fantastic, but it hasn't been without its heartache. Learning how to do a lot of this stuff is tough, and learning how to do it myself with people that care is tougher, and doing it without paying $150 an hour is the tough fist. Figuring this all out has been a blast. I want to do these videos more just to give you a little status update, but I also don't want you to be bored. So let me know what you would like to see. Thank you so much for the time. I truly love you. Couldn't imagine doing this in any other way. And sorry I sound like Linus Tech Tips. I don't even know what Linus Tech Tips sounds like, but I'm assuming he's a very handsome, incredibly smart, gifted man with coiffed hair that goes up instead of down. Anyway, love you guys. And thank you. I'm gonna go eat some Taco John's.
Hey!